We are Americans. We love our homes, but if our homes are too small, we tear them down so that we can build bigger homes. We like to drive big cars, and we shop at big stores where we can get big things that come in big boxes. And when we get home, we unpack them and we have so much stuff left over. Where will it go? Where is all the stuff going to go? Welcome to Holliston. It's a great place to live. It's a historic community, first founded in 1659. Now there are plenty of reasons to live here. There are lots of great things to do in Holliston. It's got a quaint downtown, and it's not too far from Boston. The streets are safe, and the schools are good. It's a good place to raise your family, and a nice place to live. But do you know Holliston's dirty little secret? This is 115 Washington Street, on the east end of town. This is where the transfer station is located. BFI used to have a facility here, but now it's changed hands and Casella, or Atlantic North, operates here. And every day, a fleet of trucks bring all sorts of solid waste from many, many different places. Ironically, Holliston's trash doesn't even go to the Casella facility. It goes somewhere else. Welcome to the tipping floor. This is the heart of Casella's transfer station. Garbage trucks, roll-off trucks, pickup trucks, and a variety of other vehicles drop their contents here, and all this is happening less than a mile away from Holliston's main drinking water supply. Probably a lot of what's in there is safe. Eggshells, coffee grounds, newspapers. But what else do people throw away? Baby diapers, adult diapers, ammonia, solvents, bleach, chemicals, old medicine. Any of this can make its way through the stormwater, onto the ground, downhill, and towards your water supply. Here's the traffic outside the facility on a typical weekday morning. There's one of the 18-wheelers coming in to pick up its next load. And on the way out, they look like this. Sevens. Casella has applied for a permit to carry 850 tons per day of solid waste into the facility and then again back out of the facility. And to do that requires a lot of trucks. Local residents complain about the disruption to the traffic pattern, about the noise, about the clanking of the empty dumpsters, and about drips and dust and debris left on the road as these hundreds and hundreds of trucks make their way in and out of town every day. And Casella is currently applying to import trash on Saturdays as well. The residents have noticed something about the pattern of wear and tear on Holliston's roads. The westbound lanes of Route 16 show more wear than the eastbound lanes. It would be difficult for the residents to prove, but they suggest that since the 18-wheelers are full when they go west and empty when they come east, that could explain the condition of the roads.
There are 192 trash transfer facilities here in Massachusetts. Now, while other places just process about 50 tons a day, Holliston may be processing 850 tons every single day. The only facilities larger than ours are located in Somerville, Braintree, and Peabody, and none of those are located near a public drinking supply.
The transfer station takes in two types of solid waste. One type is called municipal solid waste, or MSW. That includes whatever people put at the end of their driveways once a week. It also includes what comes out of dumpsters serving factories, malls, gas stations. You get the picture. The other kind of trash coming to Holliston is called construction and demolition debris, or C&D. When a building gets torn down, the pieces come here. A lot of what's in there seems pretty tame, wood or plaster or nails, but have you looked at a demolished building lately? You might see fluorescent lights, copper pipes, wires, an old oil burner, fuel tanks, fiberglass insulation. This is a map of Holliston. Route 16 would bring you from Milford here to the center of town, further east to the Bertucci's intersection, and here is the Sherborn border. Now near that border is well number 6, a major source of our drinking water, and right about here is the Casella transfer station. Well, here's a map of Holliston and the surrounding towns. We'll use pennies to represent a ton of solid waste. Now the DEP has rated the transfer station in Sherborn for up to 20 tons a day, so there's 20 pennies for Sherborn. Millis also has a transfer station rated for 20 tons a day, so there's 20 more pennies. The surrounding towns of Medway, Milford, Hopkinton, Ashland, Framingham, and Natick don't have transfer stations at all, but here in Holliston, Casella is applying for 850 tons a day. Here's 850 pennies for Holliston.
Yeah, we were really interested in knowing exactly how big 850 tons of trash is for a year brought through Holliston. According to the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality, 850 tons of trash a day for a year is the length and the width of a football field piled 982 feet tall. That's a lot of trash.
Hi, I'm Bobby Blair. My family's been gardening here in Mudville for over 158 years. That's a lot longer than most businesses have been in town. Speaking of businesses, the air, water, and soil we all use is our business. My great-grandfather had a saying: it looks like a skunk, walks like a skunk, smells like a skunk. It is a skunk.
Can you see the white drums at the lower left corner of your screen? They're filled with industrial-grade perfume, which is sprayed into the air to mask the smell of garbage. Residents say the smell of the perfume is sometimes worse than the smell of the garbage. Casella plans to solve odor problems with a mechanized misting system, but the residents say your nose can't tell if the perfume comes from a mechanized misting system or a 55-gallon drum. It still smells the same. The residents don't want to smell perfume, and they don't want to smell garbage. They just want to smell fresh air.
Holliston-Sherborn Residents Group is a group of local volunteers, citizens like ourselves, like you and your neighbors, who are concerned of how the trash transfer facility can affect our community. The group feels that such a large transfer station located so close to the public drinking supply can be bad for those who live and work here. In addition, the group feels that the transfer station is bad for local wetlands, brings in way too much heavy truck traffic. And with that truck traffic, we have noise, dust, and debris, and a lot of vibration, all of which is detrimental to our quality of health and could actually bring down real estate values. Casella Waste Systems is a $500 million corporation, one of the 10 top trash haulers in the United States, with 70 subsidiaries up and down the East Coast. The facility in Holliston is known as Atlantic North. To complicate matters further, Holliston officials have stated that these folks don't seem to have the proper permits to be in the business that they're in.
Today, it's 2005. But let's go back in time. Back to the early 1970s. It was 1972 when Ray Lawrence got a permit to open a recycling center in the old sand pit. The permit calls for 105 tons per day, no household waste, and 20 trucks per day. By 1974, Mr. Lawrence was still the owner, but he leased the space to BFI, who stayed in the recycling business, at least for a while. It's unclear exactly when the site started to function as a solid waste transfer station. In spite of what the permit says, by 1988, BFI was handling 300 tons per day of solid waste, and the growth continued. Again, in spite of what the permit says, by 1994, BFI was handling up to 550 tons per day. Today, the facility is owned by Casella Waste Systems. Casella has submitted an application that would allow them to increase to 850 tons per day. That's a long way from a 105 ton per day permit for a recycling center.
So we'll talk about permits later. Let's see how a trash transfer station could affect someone's health. Now, when everybody talks about health risks involved here, they talk about stormwater and stormwater runoff. Now, to me, stormwater just meant pure, clean water. And at first, I needed help to understand the risks. Let's use this tea bag as a simple way to illustrate what happens when stormwater meets trash. Now, you take pure, clean stormwater and you run it through trash, like this tea bag, for example, and it mixes, it changes color. As the water runs through the trash, it percolates down, and it's not water anymore, it's tea. So, even though you transfer the tea bag or the trash other places, you still got the water.
This is a model aquifer. It's a cross-section of the ground beneath your feet. Some rubber hose and a syringe represent a pumping well, while some water with red food coloring in it represents contamination. In this simple experiment, we pulled water from the pumping well and saw that the red-colored liquid works its way towards the well. The more water we drew, the more that red plume became apparent. Residents are concerned that this same effect might draw contaminants towards Holliston's well number 6. Buying bottled water won't solve the problem we're talking about. We should never compromise when it comes to the public drinking water. Remember, you brush your teeth in it, you wash your dishes in it, and you wash your clothes in it. You cook in it, and the restaurants and the schools downtown, they cook with it too. You can't afford enough bottled water for all that. Remember, it's all about the water, and we're swimming in it.
This is a map of 115 Washington Street and the land next door. The map shows contamination that was found next door to the transfer station. The contamination happened over 5 years ago. Back then, the transfer station was handling a lot less trash than it does today. This contamination happened when I was in kindergarten, but it still hasn't been cleaned up. Today I'm a student at the middle school. If the transfer station expands again, what will this area be like by the time I graduate from high school?
My name is Carol. I'm the nearest house to the transfer station, and I've lived here over 30 years, and up until the last few years, and thoroughly enjoyed this neighborhood, including the wooded area in my neighborhood beside the house, behind the house. And however, in the last few years, the increased activity in the transfer station next door, which is about 300 feet from my back door, has been very much increased over previous years. And therefore, when they're very active in the pushing the trash around in the municipal area, municipal trash area, there's backup beepers, there's engines running and scraping that is so loud at times that I have to go inside to avoid that noise. In addition, I have noticed that when, in particular last couple weeks ago, I left to head west towards Milford around 6:40 in the morning, and one huge tractor trailer, I think they call them 18-wheelers, left their site, and I was right behind it, and it smelled very bad all the way until we parted company somewhere in Milford. Those are the main points that I find it bothersome. Thank you.
The only permit for the site is from 1972. It looks like this, and the words transfer station do not appear anywhere. The permit and the attached application say, recycling only, no household waste, 20 trucks per day, a maximum of 105 tons per day, and the business will not have any negative impact on the community. Casella doesn't claim to have a permit that's any newer than this one. What Casella's attorneys have said in meetings is that the permit evolved over time. The Holliston Planning Board is the only agency that can issue or change a permit. The Planning Board is now re-examining the 1972 permit. They are comparing Casella's present business to what it says on the permit. This part may come as a surprise. You'd like to think the State Department of Environmental Protection does nothing but work to protect our environment, right? In recent years, the DEP has gone through budget cuts and loss of personnel, but they still have the task of choosing a home for the huge amount of solid waste handled in Massachusetts each day. Right now, it seems like the DEP is ready to send lots more trash in and out of Holliston. So if you plan to fight to save Holliston's environment, you may find yourself fighting against the DEP. Although the DEP has granted Casella a permit to expand again, the permit is subject to local approval. That means that Holliston Town Boards have the final say before any expansion takes place. Meanwhile, many local towns have no transfer station at all. Instead, they export their trash and garbage to centralized facilities, like the one in Holliston.
Hi, my name is Paul Durensis. I'm a selectman in the town of Sherborn. Our town, the town of Sherborn, depends on groundwater supply for its drinking water. We have no public water supply at all. We share an aquifer with the town of Holliston. We are committed to do all things necessary and proper to preserve and protect the quality of our drinking water, and we ask the town of Holliston to do likewise and to join with us to preserve and protect this asset for ourselves and for future generations.
So now you know, it's not a secret anymore. Casella Industries has a very large trash transfer station located right here in Holliston, and they've made it very clear that they'd like to expand again. So think about what the future can hold. We have much more information, but we simply can't fit it all on this video. But think about this, hundreds of trash trucks in and out of town every day. Questions about our water quality, and all this from a company who's not a major employer and only contributes $19,000 a year in taxes? Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. And please remember, it is all about the water.